enough to save. I just don't save.
But we are live, right? So
yeah.
Just let's just let me link to something.
They don't. You're not real people. No one's watching. Based and red pilled. I've been hanging out with. So you know Sella, one of the new guys. I hang out with Sella way too much. Like he's messed up my idea of how speech should work.
how so?
Like so, I just said based and red pilled. That's his fault. Like we make a lot of weird jokes. Oh god, he's probably gonna be on the tabletop thing when I get to talk to the guy.
Oh, when you get to that. Today's cast is cast of the most terrifying Japan. Is that gonna be our alert forever now?
Wait, oh crap!
Hey,
what is the alert?
Today's cast is the cast of the most horrifying Japan anime.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna leave that. You know what? That's fine. It's not even that bad. Like I thought it was something horrible. Hey, Geek Boy.
Okay, let me just think.
What's Pajal? Hey, Lana, what's good? Welcome. Thanks for showing up on YouTube. Lovely to see you. Hey. You know what? You know the funniest thing is I'm Geek Boy. I'm Geek Boy's patron on my own personal dime. I love him so much. Ooh. He's so adorable. His work is really nice. I don't ever like any of the Patreon posts he makes, so he probably doesn't even know that I read them.
No.
It's just like it's it's probably the worst thing I've ever done. It's just like because I know how much I like knowing if someone's read it. But I never remember to do the thing I'm supposed to do. Let me see. Oh, God.
I think HL is like an emoticon, but...
Yeah. Are you on the webcomic server, by the way? The Webtoon server? The Webtoon Canvas server?
Webtoon is official?
No, it's not official. It would never be official. But, it was made by, you know the guy who made Crappie?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, his wife runs that. It's
so
beta.
What's the server called
again? Webtoon. I'm just gonna invite you. It's fine. I'm just gonna invite you. It's okay. 1 second. Let me just go to the creator dashboard.
How is everyone doing, by the way, if you're listening in?
Are you all real people? Am I finally no longer having a very long-standing hallucination?
Is this the real life or is this just fantasy?
Go away. This is why no one invites you to parties.
Oh, you damn
Wait, hold on. What the fuck is that? I'm gonna change the server so you don't DC halfway through. Why is Singaporean internet somehow better in the afternoon? It's like so much better than it's ever been. Anyway, just quick server change, okay? You might cut out for a sec. Okay, that should be done.
Hello.
Yes, good. You are here. Speak more, that they may hear your booming voice. Hey, Jay, what's good? What's good, buddy? How are you? We're just letting the usual, I'm as real can be. We're just letting the usual trickle in that happens as they do. You know. Oh. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked it out. It's fine. I'm myself.
Wow, why are you lying to me on voice?
Wait, what? What did I just miss? I feel like I zoned out for too long. Oh, wait. No one understands why I'm laughing. Okay.
Yeah, that's just delusional.
I'm very delirious. Hey, Requiem. Oh.
Hey, how's it going, Requiem?
Requiem isn't a real person. Don't worry about it. He's not. He doesn't exist. Like. I'm like. Why do you have to make it weird? Huh? You.
know sometimes I have to. It's fun.
Jesus Christ.
Oh God.
You know, I used to be normal. I used to have normal friends. I used to be based in red pill. Like, I need to stop saying that.
You have friends. Oh, you have friends.
Get out. Get out of my head. Jesus Christ. Oh my God, dude. Okay.
Yeah. We're not starting just yet because like it's gonna take some time to warm up. But I suppose we for those people who haven't seen the announcement, what are we going over in terms of like topics today? Just a quick run.
Yeah. So like today we're supposed to talk about Webtoon Canvas Week, which is gonna be interesting. The payment system changes, which is gonna be hilarious.
I have not looked at payment systems because I don't usually. Okay, because I do not actually pay for webtoons. Fake me. I get paid for webtoons.
No, but that's what we're talking about. That getting paid system. The pay system is the same as the coin thing. Don't worry about that.
Okay, but let's save that for later. And then we're
Graphites. I want to talk about Graphite. If you guys know, I have I'm going to tell you later. It's a whole thing. It has Twitter involved. It's going to be great. I need to make sure I have that tweet open because it's very long. And it's just me being an awful person.
And then we have a huge one. Okay, no, it's not huge, but it's gonna be huge in terms of how long we probably will spend on it. It's about scanlation groups and their shift in content.
I love scanlation.
Because when we are the Webcomics Hubcast, we totally talk about comics that end up on the web, even if they weren't originally on the web.
Look, all right, listen, don't call me out like this. It's not my fault that I use Manga Rock. All right, like I just want to read manga when it's out. Why do I have to wait a month?
We will actually be talking about Manga Rock and the like, So I mean, I don't know how. I mean, we will also fill you in if you don't know what the big deal is with Manga Rock or similar sites. So yeah, definitely watch the space. Hopefully, y'all plenty to look forward to if you stay on with us for the whole time of the show.
My tweet about Graphite vanished. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, the tweet about Graphite Spanish?
I'm looking.
Did you not screen cap it?
I'm pretty sure I have screen caps, but it's fine. I'll look for it again. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere here that in my ignorance, I've just it's under a stack of replies. I don't know how long ago I made it. Anyway, you were saying.
Oh yeah, and for the people who didn't know this, the Webcomics Hubcast is 2 years old today.
Yeah, I know. Webcomics Hub server is 2.5, 3 years old. This is 2 years old. We were 2 years old last November.
So it's not 2 years old exactly today. It's 2 and a slight bit now, but yeah, our very first cast. And if people who weren't around for the first time of it, Kate,
oh god,
it was alright, except because we did not have bots turned on.
Listen, all right, I made one mistake. No one knows the mistakes that I've made. Don't call me out like this. This is illegal. This is bullying.
This was before Nan was part my co-host as well. So we didn't have bots turned on. So we had to. So because we wanted to have the audio trim version of it as well for people to actually listen to it as a podcast. Why are you Sous Chef?
Yeah, my name on Discord now is Sous Chef Nan. It's complicated. I married one of my favorite one of my favorite artists, and I named him Chef, and it's complicated. It is.
So that means you're under.
But yeah, look, basically this is what happened, right? I googled.
You missed what I just said.
I heard what you said. I'm refusing to acknowledge that you said what you said. Because if I do, it means that I have to pretend like you are real. This is not okay. Anyway, so basically what happened was
this Top Chef.
Me and all of my friends were sitting in a room at work. I work at a school now, and then we were talking about what a gender neutral word for daddy would be. So we googled gender neutral word for daddy, and then it came up with chef. It was don't say yes daddy, say yes chef.
Oh no.
Which to this day is the funniest thing. Oh, is that my uwu, my babe? Hey Carrie, I didn't mute you. Fuck off. Why must he do this to me? I'm young.
Well, because you did that to him last
It was
time.
an accident, okay? I blame the internet for corrupting my mind and making me block him by mistake. I didn't mean to block him.
Oh no.
Oh god, that was such a long day. So he said,
oh my god.
"Oh fucking Jesus, this has become nightmarish." Okay.
But yeah, plenty of stuff that we can go through and talk about the show, and it's a little bit of a hush push one because obviously it's the first one of the year. But yes, just before that, like I was saying, the very first cast where Nen was not really on speaking staff, he was background staff, and the one we had to re-record it with our poor suffering guests. Clifton Tallis have been doing quite well. They ended up redoing Score of My Heart, I believe, at one point, and
I've read it.
It flows just much better.
Yeah, no, it was good for them. It worked. I have lost the tweet.
Your voice just went really high. No.
Listen, all right. It's complicated. Stop. Don't. Oh god. Oh, this is a friendly reminder to everyone who makes a comic. I need you to know that Eisner consideration submissions are open. So they started evaluating months ago, by the way, but they opened January 1st. Go submit your fucking comic. Go do it. Fuck you if you think just go submit. What are you doing? Don't annoy me. Jesus Christ.
I wanted Mary will submit, Yeah. And the question is which one?
Which one? Oh god. That's gonna become a topic of conversation. Okay. So let's start. I mean, we might as well. We're already here. We're starting way early than usual.
We're cutting down on pre-show times from 30 minutes last time to 15 minutes. So go right ahead. Go right ahead, man.
Go right. It's just changing the screen. I've somehow fucking lost the transition. No, I haven't actually. It just isn't loading. I'll fix it later.
There we go. Oh, by the way, who drew that really cute picture of me that we used in our announcements?
That's from the same group of stuff that this is from.
These images that we have.
Yeah. All of them were from this.
I never saw that one.
Because I hide things from you.
Oh.
What did you think I was gonna say? You think I was gonna be cool about it? I hide things from you. What's new?
Why are you like this? I thought you valued our working relationship enough to be upfront with me.
I mean, I do. I still hide things from everybody. It's funny.
Except for your immense love for Careless.
I mean, yeah, you don't hide love. Love transcends space and time. Okay, we're wasting too much time. I need to actually get to the thing.
Right. Okay. Let's actually start.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Webcomics Hubcast. My name is Nen. That is the unfortunate woman that's been trapped with me in this eternal hell that we call a podcast.
Yeah, look at my misfortune. Whoa, it's me.
Welcome. And today we're going to be talking about a multitude of topics, but I think we're going to start from the Webtoon Canvas Week. Canvas Week happened on Webtoon. It's like Shark Week, but a bit shit. That's real.
Oh,
it's not shit. I'm kidding.
Can we not?
I'm joking.
I think beforehand we have to kind of ask, back when Canvas was called Discover, did they really have much in the way of these sorts of pushes?
No, this is actually really good. I'm just being an asshole. It's the best thing they've done in a while. It's great that they're talking about different comics that are out. It's great that they're promoting people's work. It's great that they're making visibility increase. The gamification of reading is nice. It's all around
great
good.
That they have more staff on Canvas.
Oh my god. You mean 3 people?
Well, it used to be 1.
Oh yeah, good point.
Just the 1.
They've gone from 1 to 3. Jan got featured, Jay got featured, people we know, people I know, those are my friends. What you call it? A lot of people got visibility they otherwise wouldn't have gotten, which I think is great. I genuinely respect the idea of it. And I think they did a decent job with it. I didn't like the way it was weirdly hidden away, but they have constraints that it's not completely their fault. The website isn't built to handle a lot of things, and it's mostly made for the app. I'm on the app. I'm sure it was much easier for everyone. I just don't use my phone that much. I'm old.
Okay, pseudo boomer.
Oh my god! Did I just get called a boomer? Jesus.
Pseudo boomer. You're not one, okay?
My
well,
young age.
Yeah, well, oh gosh, now I've kind of lost my train of thought because we're just talking about age right there. Yeah, what specifically did you like about it? Like apart from the promo stuff, like I mean they definitely like did like their own canvas corner thing, which is pretty much the canvas version of Lozels.
Yeah, which is good. It's good. I think the Canvas Corner Webtoon. I mean, this is the thing. I wish Webtoon had a better informational platform than just making a webcomic on their website. Like, I wish there was a way you could actually just go in, click on an easy button, and see an update, without having to, hey, Mayu, without having to go all the way to like a specific webcomic to read it. That would be infinitely better. But I get it, website constraints. The American group isn't really controlling the website as such. It's mostly controlled by the Korean group. So I understand why there will be lots of small little issues.
Like the formats there, like the things the American group wants to do don't necessarily go into with.
I bet that's probably the reason why they also got rid of the sideways scrolling format eventually, which is normal. But no, it was really good. They gamified it. I really liked that they gamified it. They made it like, so Webtoon uses coins now, which they give people to pay for like the fast pass crap. They use coins now, and because they use coins now, it's really nice that like they made it so you could earn the coins by reading the featured stuff. I think it's 1 coin per featured thing. Or like you read every they meant featured, my bad. By featured I meant like the Canvas Week stuff. If you read every Canvas Week comic that they put up, you get 5 free coins, which is I think 1 fast pass purchase, which is nice.
Holy.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's good. It's good. Like, hey, it's like I think it's 100 episodes you had to read for it, but it's great to remind people that they exist, which I thought was great. I just thought it was really nice. It's great to remind people that these comics exist. And I found a lot of comics that I normally wouldn't have. I personally am a very lazy scroller, I got to read a comic that a friend had been recommending for a while because, when you just start scrolling through them, you end up like just finding a comic that you like. I think, I forgot what it's called, but it's been taken down. But it was really cool. And I'm now going to look for, violent. It said it's called Wild Child. There it is. A chapter was taken down because it was considered incredibly violent by Webtoon.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in their defense, someone's ear does get bitten off. But in the artist's defense, it's sick as fuck though. It's like cool. Otherwise, like, I thought it was really nice. Requiem pointing out that it does expire after a month, and that's a really shit thing. But, they got to have a way to replenish the interest every so often, because some readers just don't care. I get it. It's cool.
Oh, plus the more time you spend on their website, the more time you're looking at ads, which means catching.
Yeah, if only they had a substantial ad system, that would make me happy.
Oh, yeah.
I really want them to have ads.
I mean, speaking about kaching, what other changes have they done to the payment system that we were talking about earlier?
Oh, okay. So if it's on the payment system, here's where it's fucking weird. And I'm just gonna go to the notes that I kept on this because they're so weird to read. So Webtoon's new payout system, like the one they used to pay creators, is no longer the same as it was before. For example, you can't earn money if you have you can't earn money for every comic you have anymore, if I remember correctly. So I
thought it's always been like just the top rated comic.
No, it used to be for every comic. That's why like if you look back a long time ago, you could see Merryweather's name show up like 3 times. Which is really funny because at the time he had 3 comics running. Yeah, like I remember it being a thing where I remember this conversation with someone where I said, I mean, I respect the Merriweather hustle, but like, there's his name is on here like 4 times, and that's one of the reasons they were paying you.
Actually, wasn't was I don't think it was Mary. It was someone. It was
Was it someone
Angelicious.
else? Was it someone else?
It was Angelicious, and it was
Oh,
like different.
that's who it
It
was.
was
I think I
different
just
account. It was different accounts for
yeah.
the stuff.
I think I just assumed it was
My
Mary.
volume is low.
I've increased your volume.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, well, I don't know. See, Nan just bullies me into like silence. See, that's what it is, Mayu. That's
don't
what
make
it
me
is.
look
I'm
like that,
humbled.
please. Angelicious, that's who it was. Okay, great. Everyone's saying Angelicious, then it's Angelicious. But like the new system now only pays you on your highest rated comic, which means that you can have like 6 or 7 comics out, but you're only getting paid on the top one. And here's how their new system works. They use page views. The thing is, their page views are American only, which is a bit shit because they just don't have a strong European or like outside America ad system. So it's just Americans ads that count, which is annoying.
Oh.
So you need 40,000 American page views, which Aerosol missed last month by 3K views, which was sad, to even qualify. Then that gives you $100 credit straight, right? If you the silver, that's what they call the bronze tier. The silver tier is 200,000 page views,
That's
and
a
that
huge
gives
jump.
you $300 credit. The gold tier is 600,000 page views. That gives you $800 credit. This is per month, by the way. And the platinum tier, also known as the highest tier, needs a million. Sorry, it needs 1.5 million page views, 1.5 million page views to get $1,000 credit. A lot of people aren't
A
happy about.
month.
Yeah, you need like 1.5 million American page views that month, $1,000. A lot of people are not happy about it, as understandably, because like they
It's a lot of work.
this is on top of ad revenue. I believe it's just what they pay you. Yeah, because they're taking the ad revenue. Yeah, I think they're taking the ad revenue system away. It seems to be like they call it the Creator Rewards Program Monetary Support. Creator Rewards Program, and I don't think it's an ad revenue system.
Sorry.
On the topic of ad revenue for people like Mayu and Lana, ad revenue is really hard to get. You are 100% correct. But when you run an app with a couple million people, it's not impossible to make a substantial amount of money. It just requires a lot of like work. And nobody wants to put that work in because ad revenue can pay anything from 0.001 CPM, which is the lower end of what I've seen, to and CPM means essentially like dollars per thousand. It's a French thing, but it just means per thousand views. So like $0.001 per thousand views. It's less than a cent. That's less than a cent. And then on the higher end, you can get a PewDiePie 2012 amount, which is still possible these days, although pretty hard. Which is 12, which is about $1 to $10 per thousand views, which is insane money. Because think about it, if you get 1 million people in that month, 1 million people in that week, and you're putting in $10 per thousand page views, what's that? 10 grand in that 1 week. And by more work, I don't mean more episode posts. By more work, I mean like on the company side, they need to work really hard to maintain strong relationships with advertisers, but also work really hard to maintain that their website is advertiser friendly. And that can be fucking devastating to art. So I can completely see why they've gone the route they've gone. It makes a lot of sense because they can use this.
Look at how YouTube is suffering in terms of the whole like monetization thing.
Webtoon is a lot easier to manage than YouTube. They can use this new system when they're checking page views and crap. Yeah. And it can be a great way to sell themselves because that's how you sell yourself to companies. SDCC is looking for an advertising spot. Who better to go to than Webtoon, a California-based company with a large American audience? I can prove to you that 1.5 million people will see me this month, and you can give me an SDCC ad post for X or Y. So, yeah, exactly. There's a good reason marketing is its own profession. It's insane. I literally, to understand like how all of this would work, I had to make some calls to some friends. Like I did that
Go
this
right ahead,
morning.
explain that.
No, it was just that they explained to me like how like how advertiser relationships work with companies, and how like Google makes it seem like it's super hands off, and it can be, But like, if you want to make money, you gotta have friends, if that makes sense. You've got to like talk to them. You got to actually communicate with the company. You can't be a Google, like you can't be like a webcomic site circa 2006. Oh, just an ad on the corner. You can't do that.
Oh.
You got to find the companies. You got to talk to them. Like if you see companies, like if you watched anime on Kiss Anime or any of the anime sites, you would notice they always had these sketch ads on their sites. That was because they went to sketch people, because sketch people paid well.
Oh gosh.
It's not their fault. I don't blame them. Ad revenue is ad
Sex
revenue.
sells.
Yeah, but you get the idea. It's like, if you really want to make bank, you gotta make friends. That's it. Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot more than
friends. So we just say friends, and we're talking about sketchy ads. So hey, but
I have a lot of regular friends that are sketch as fuck. Like Jay. Jay's sketch as fuck.
I mean, come on, you're hanging out with me, and I can be sketch as fuck.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
sketch.
Yeah.
She stole my mans. Carrie, come back to me. Please. I love you.
I'm sorry, this is the Webcomics Hubcast, but not the Webcomics Hub soap opera.
Yeah, look, it's complicated. My man's got stolen. I'm sad. All right. My heart out.
Well, okay, so I mean, jumping back a little bit from like the whole like payment system and ads and revenue and stuff, like, I mean, at one point, like Canvas had this. This is something I actually did take part in, like in between like getting settled into all my work and stuff. So Canvas had this like Canvas creator tips thing, like hey, well, I mean, share tips, ask for advice in this thread. And I mean. And there was also quite some interesting ones that came out of the woodwork, and I obviously had to chime in.
Oh yeah, I saw your tweet. It was really funny. I loved it. It was good.
Yeah, well, but I mean, there was something that I also did today. Like I was in an editing session with another friend, and they were pointing out, like, I mean, when I was they were pointing out that it's sometimes a lot harder to name good examples of lettering than it is to name bad examples.
Oh yeah. I've seen,
but I digress.
Yeah, I've seen like maybe, like, this is the thing. I haven't read a lot of traditional comics lately, but in the past maybe year, I've seen like 3 situations that I would call really good lettering. One of them was it wasn't that comic. I'm trying to remember what it was called. One of them was an old defunct webcomic that I haven't read in a while. Another one was called Heart, which was made as a one shot on the Comic Collab subreddit, and it had really good lettering. Heart and a different comic in there. And then the third one was when I reread an old Spawn comic from years ago. And I just liked it.
What?
Spawn, remember Spawn? Remember Spawn?
Oh God.
Yeah, the Rob Liefeld comic. Yeah, there was a period of time when Rob stopped. Look, you know how I feel about Rob Liefeld, but he stopped working on it for a while, and I think someone else was working on it, and it had really nice lettering in it. One episode, I just liked it. I think it was even literally 1 page. I just really liked it, and that's it. That's my lettering enjoyment this year, in the past year.
Oh wow.
Maybe I'm not reading enough. I don't know.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's really easy to fall into that trap. But yeah, obviously, most people who come onto the show know that I am a stickler for lettering because it is the often forgotten component of a webcomic. And some detractors have said it's sometimes the only thing that I can bother like picking at visually because Gaz doesn't know how to draw. But I digress.
That's such a bullshit statement. And if you ever said that to Kaz, I would sell you on eBay.
I don't know. I mean, are they even worth the cost? Who's gonna pay for that?
Gotta stand up for my mans. You never call out Kaz. Only I call out Kaz. You're very short, Kaz. Only I can insult her.
Oh, the bully.
The bully. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, generally, like, Canvas Week has been interesting. It's a first. So I'd like to see how they. I mean, is it going to be like a once a year thing, or because it sounds it's a little bit long in that space? Or
I hope it's more than once a year. The 3 people in charge right now are the most passionate people I've ever seen work for a company that could easily be a cold-blooded piece of shit. You know?
They follow me too. So
They follow you. They don't follow me. What the fuck? You know the only good thing that's happened this month? Dean Hashpiel and Kwanzaa, who used to work for DC, followed me. That's it. That's my high-level following props right there.
Bro, Dean Hashpiel followed you. Hey, that's
yeah,
good.
he followed
okay,
me because he's so cool. I love Dean. No one tell him I like him. I think he's cool.
But by the way, guys, we are so mature. We just we just go gaga, but like, senpai, no,
Hey, Mary, thanks for sharing up, buddy. Appreciate it.
Oh, Mary's online.
Yeah, he's on YouTube. Wow, big epic podcast. Poggers.
What is Poggers no, Poggers is comes from the PogChamp emote.
Okay.
So, like, I'm actually gonna type it on Twitch right now.
And he's been said that I've been using Twitch since it was called Justin TV. I still don't know what Poggers means. Oh, that's what it is? Entertain me. Actually, it'd be good to ask him because he's got a lot of stake in this. Hey Mary, how do you feel about the payment system on Webtoon? And how like the creator payout system? How do you feel about that? As someone who makes a bunch of stuff. We'll get back to it whenever you post it, but yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we've posed the question. Let's go back and circle back to this later.
Okay, sure. This is your trigger button, by the way. It's on Graphite, and it's a redesign.
Oh, he said I'm loving it. And Graphite. Okay.
So what does he love about it, actually?
I hope he'll tell us in time. Don't worry, we'll get to him.
Because he gets page views.
So. So Graphite is this webcomic service, which a lot of you probably have not heard of because it wasn't that great when it launched. And it launched with this god-awful website that looked like trash. And there's no real specific reason, Mary. We just wanted to know. That's it. It launched with this god-awful website that looked like trash. And like a lot of things around it were just half-baked and unfinished. I made like a very long...
Do you have a visual?
Of the website now or of the website then? Because the website then I've lost my tweets. All of my tweets are gone. My long tweet thread bitching about it for hours is gone.
I could find it for you if you give me if you give me just a moment.
If you find it, I'll be proud of you. I think I felt bad for a minute and deleted it, but I highly doubt, because that doesn't sound like me. I don't feel bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, I went on to Graphite, I think about a year or so ago. A few months ago. It's not been that long. And,
you deleted a bunch of them.
Okay, I did. And I had like a massive bitch fit about it. Basically because like as a programmer and as a user, it had a shitty user experience. It was so bad. But websites can be shit. Because Webtoon's website used to be really bad. The app was fine.
Oh, yeah.
So I went, okay, website looks like crap, and it's got this weird header that literally almost gave me an epileptic fit because I'm relatively only slightly photosensitive, that got me. So I opened the app, the Graphite app, and it had like non-functioning buttons, a crappy login system. It tried to make it.
You were really annoyed about the hamburger menu.
Yes, the hamburger menu didn't have anything on it. It had 5 things on it, and then it would like lots of elements in it just didn't work. It was so fucking bad. So I think sometime around December 31st, January 1st, I'm home. I'm watching the fireworks outside my window, and I decide to download Graphite again, just to see what's happened. The app and the user experience is entirely different now. I'm not gonna go as far as to say it's good, but it's entirely different. It still does not have a dark mode, but no webcomic site has a dark mode, which is still baffling to me.
What are you doing reading webcomics in dark mode? You shouldn't have your phone on.
The dark mode, I'll get to why that's useful sometime. But it's changed its entire base. It's invited a lot more comics on. It's still not like where I would say you should go to if you're a big user. I've been trying to talk to Michael from Graphite for a long time, and I keep just having to like cancel and readjust. I'll see if I can get another occasion going. But it's a lot better. There's still a non-functioning button on there called Webcomics, which does fuck all for some reason in the hamburger menu. But relatively way better. The user experience is way better. The reading experience is way better. The reader is still pretty manky, but like because they instead of opting to go for like what I would call a really solid reader from like Manga Reader or something, or Manga Rock, they've gone for this relatively chunky website. Yeah. Yeah, it does. It does because Graphite is like that was what I was going to come to. They're going for a relatively chunky website, so a lot of things are slow and meandering, and it's almost like running through treacle. Oh wait, no, most of you Americans. It's like running through honey, really thick honey. It's just fucking like
you mean
slow.
running through tar?
Yeah, that's what would help you. It's slow and fucking just bad, but it has more ads than Webtoon. But it also has it sells itself in its like weird little AI system that allows you to access the comics that you would like, and like it has age gating, which means you can release 18 plus stuff. So there's a lot of benefit.
But people are still gonna lie and take on the right age anyway.
I know, but like they just want to cover their asses, I guess. If you want to upload onto there, do it, but don't go there as your main site. Don't do that to yourself. Okay? Don't do that to yourself. There are better sites to go to if that's your main site. If you're just looking for a secondary place to put your shit on, go for it. It's good. It's all right. It's not too bad. It doesn't have a massive reader base. The highest read thing has 300K views, which isn't crazy numbers statistically, but like it's almost equaling Tapas recently, because Tapas is highest rated stuff. Like hype of like the past couple of years would be like in the 600K range.
The one that you edit the stuff you upload, so it's like Twitter.
Yeah. So like you only have a one chance, or you could take the whole upload down, I think, which is really weird. I tried to upload a bit of aerosol to see how it goes. So you got to make sure everything is fine when you're going on there. It's not great, but it's functional. And I think
let's not even talk about like Webcomics 365 though, who themselves have to upload for you.
Oh God. Anyway, but like you gave me some NAM flashbacks there. But I think like compared to last year, definite improvement. It's not shit. Mm-hmm. It's gone from what I would call shit to fine. I've sworn a lot in this. I need to finish.
So we have not been using the no swear command.
I need to finish the thing. I'll make it today. You know what? I'm gonna drop everything I was gonna do today and make the no swear command work properly, the way it should. Anyway.
What do you mean it's not working properly? It's just I haven't really typed in like that. Oh, see. Oh yeah, but we do need a counter that you can reset.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The counter.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, for people who don't know what this is, so every time Nen swears, you type no swear, and we add to a counter, and like for every swear, he has to pay like about 20 pence, or 20 cents. And at the end of it, we decide on an artist to give it to, and Nen provides the Patreon tip.
Yeah, no, again, the Graphite guys are nice people. Nice people make bad stuff. That's the thing. I'm never going to call, like, if I ever make fun of a thing, if I ever call out something for being crap or bad or in some way, the people are perfect. They're probably awesome. Hell, I would probably have them be the godfather to my kids if I knew them well enough, But like, I very much separate creation from individual. So if I call a comic bad, I don't mean the person is bad. If I call a website bad, I don't mean the creators are bad. Good people make shit. That's just reality.
And good people make shit is like correct in more ways than one.
Yeah, it's that took me out right there. And Smack Jeeves is okay. It's not good. It's passable. It's passable. Then passable isn't fine, but it's passable.
Yeah. Dad, can I briefly interrupt to just say that my mom just came in here, and she's been making some. It's almost Lunar New Year, so she's been making some little snacks and stuff. Yeah. And this is the first time she's made nougat, and it is yummy.
Why are you telling people about the fact that you have more food than them? I'm very jealous. I'm
Come on, then. You were telling yourself all the time when you had your avocado oil in your car.
Fair enough. Iron pan. I spent a lot of time talking about that avocado oil cast iron pan. It was very long. I'm sorry. Okay. That's it on Graphite. Smack Jeeves, I'll probably do a thing on later if I have the time. But let's go into the thing that you really wanted to talk about, which I think is a lot better than talking more about Graphite.
Oh, yeah.
comics delivery.
Mm. So I mean, especially when it comes to like digital versions of print comics, more like too. So how many of us here read scanlations? I'm betting it's a huge proportion of us here who are listening and talking today.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I read Rising of the Shield Hero completely on Manga Rock, and I don't feel bad. But I will say in my defense, I did buy the volumes even though they weren't in English. When I found volumes, they weren't in English, and I felt really bad. So I spent a lot of money and then just sent it to someone I didn't know very well. Who I vaguely knew liked anime. No, just I vaguely knew he liked anime, so I just sent it to him.
You just sent it to them, and
Yeah.
people know when they read Moonroom.
I don't know if they even give a shit. They don't even know it's from me. I just felt really bad. I always feel bad when I'm taking stuff. Like if I like someone's work, I usually like to give them money for it, you know? So I spend a lot of time like going online, finding patrons or coffees, and occasionally randomly donating money. There's a higher than zero chance that I've probably donated money to literally everyone that's ever been on our podcast, like not just on, but also in the comments, just because like they're nice
guys,
people.
raise your hands. Okay, guys, raise your hands in the chat if Nen has been your sugar daddy at any one point.
Oh, they wouldn't know. My Patreon account that I give money with is secret. I'll give you a tip, Carrie, please no.
Just a tip.
What the fuck? Don't. I gave you so much money last month for one patron. Yeah, like literally.
Oh, you gave him 15. You gave him $15.
That was literally.
Yeah, that was the swear jar.
Yeah, I gave him my entire swear jar. I'm pissed that I had a swear jar. Being called out like that is so evil.
All right, so back onto scanlations.
Yeah.
So are they a gray area? Oh, damn well, they are actually.
Oh no, they're illegal as fuck. Illegal as fuck. Like.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Illegal as fuck.
Yeah. At the same time, however, there are there are many series that will never see English releases, and and sometimes you also, and sometimes like in a way, right? If I'm not gonna say that pirates are doing the good job, like in terms of like where adhering to copyright is concerned, but sometimes through gauging the response to pirated scanlations, people then decide, okay, yeah, maybe you should get it licensed, licensed translation and stuff. And even the case of like series that get licensed translations, it takes a while usually for the volumes to catch up from the English one to the Japanese one.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah. Oh wow, Jay! What happened?
Nothing happened. Basically, Jay put a graffiti thing. This is a very annoying segue for anybody who's listening. Jay put a graffiti name thing in his comic, and nobody could really read it. So I actually wrote that thing he just posted, and then everyone in the comments said that it was that, and made fun of us. QVR, thanks for the follow.
Oh yeah, Kuvi's a friend. Thank you so much. He's a really good artist. So, a comic person.
That's okay.
He's a good illustrator. He's a good illustrator. Yeah, but yeah. So not saying is the right thing, but in some cases, right? Just because if the popularity of a scanlation leads to a licensed translation, and the people take theirs down, the end justifies the means, in my opinion.
Yeah. See, I don't know if you have Mayu. I personally am a big believer in scanlation, but not for the personally because again, like you said, lots of stuff I will never read would be out I would never see if it wasn't scanlated. Like one of my favorite manga of all time that I don't really talk about enough, After School War Activities, which is I think
what?
And literally After School War Activities. I think the Japanese name is it's not Japanese, no, it's Korean. I think the Korean name is Bangwa Hu Junjang Hwaldong. I did a really good job there. Fuck off. And it's not out in English. It's by Ha Il Kwon, and I would only have read it if I would never have read it if I didn't have manga rock. Also, from one of my favorite romance authors ever, Subong Park, I would never have read any of some 2 or 3 of his comics if it wasn't for Scanlation Group. So I get it, but it's illegal as fuck. I'm just saying.
There are people who get around this by. I won't tell you who they are, but I am actually acquainted with a manhwa scanlator, specifically a Yuri manhwa scanlator.
Yeah.
So instead of the translator more like rather than scanlator. So there's a difference now because he doesn't actually have scans cleaned up and all that. Yeah. He just provides the script, the translated script.
Yeah, I get it. But I also know I know a couple of scanlators. I know the Meraki scans people. I know most of their staff, specifically their head, and I know Hatigram through some friends. Everyone's read a Hatigram scans comic. Everyone has.
I may have, but I don't. I have not.
Let me just get a name. Let me just get a name of Hatigram, not Hatigram. I always say his name.
Okay, so yeah. Well, where I stand on this is that if there is a legal release, if you can get access to it, and I know in some cases it's very hard to get that in the country. Yeah. Try and support the legal release. I mean, even though to be honest, not all the money if you buy a translated localized manga goes to the artist as well because of how licensing works when it comes to localization.
Yeah. But yeah, the thing that we wanted to get to is so Scanlation exists. It's a big thing, but Scanlation companies lately, I don't know if the word companies, groups have been pivoting from manga to webcomics a lot. Like Gemini's Box, the people who currently, I think, scanlate the entirety of Solo Leveling, are they just pivoted entirely to webcomics, and they're pretty big. Meraki Scans does exist, and they're pretty small now because they don't do Solo Leveling anymore. But they're also thinking about changing. They don't know yet. It's been a topic of discussion in the Discord group, in the public channels, I think. Even Manga Dex, the big site that has holds a lot of manga scanlation, a lot of manga reader apps steal from, is doing the same thing. They're focusing a lot on their webcomic platform, bringing in a lot more webcomics and Webtoons.
And Webtoons, basically.
Yeah, and that's crazy. I don't know. How's it over where you are?
It's kind of like a reflection of the kind of reach that these series are getting.
Yeah.
Instead of having to, more so because they're on the web, it's so much easier to get hold of the files rather than say you gotta scan it and clean it up and
yeah.
Pin over it and read it. And yes. Okay. I do sound really weird on that. I will have to say though, scanlation is kind of, sometimes being a part of a pirate scanlation group is sort of also a stepping stone to ending up doing the legit translations over time.
Yeah.
I've come across quite a few I've come across a few translated manga localized manga letterers on Twitter. Really interesting follows. A couple of them actually get into the nitty-gritty of it, talk about the differences and stuff. And almost all of them have had some scanlation experience, some a bit more notorious than others. So yes.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, and a lot of the scanlation groups have pivoted to being legit, so to speak. I know, I talked about Meraki earlier, but another group I know is they got a job from a Chinese manhua. I don't know how you say it in Chinese, but it has that one. They got a job from one of those guys to officially translate and put up their comic in the English market.
Not gonna lie though, sometimes fan translations are better than the original, the official translations.
Yeah.
Webtoon, I'm looking at you.
Oh my god. I've been reading Webtoon in French lately. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Sacre bleu. It's been quite weird. The website is written, a lot of things are written funny for me, but I guess maybe it's because I'm English still, so it just sounds weird in my head.
The British press would disagree with you on that. I am so sorry, Meghan Markle. I had to go through that. one thing the Chinese do well, get the people who know what they're doing to do it. And that's pretty much why Kari has a team of people.
It's Carrie's entire life motto. Who does this thing good? Can I get them? How much will it cost? I mean, I respect.
Who does? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
So I respect the general pivot. I think it's. What do you think it's affecting the legitimate market? That's the question.
I don't really think so because because kind of like the hostility, right, that a lot of these quote unquote like sort of traditional publishers have been showing to scanlations.
Mm-hmm.
Especially which is also kind of silly because at the same time quite a lot of them are doing it to series that will almost never get a licensed translation as well. Makes it, well, I'm not surprised really. Plus, like I said, I mean, it's just easier to get files for webtoons and webcomics than than it is to like get scans.
Yeah, getting scans can be pretty difficult. I know for Korean.
I mean, assuming that you're working off yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some. Okay, this is where I get to we get to like a sort of like related thing. There are some series that also simultaneously publish their page formats, the digital versions of the pages online on their publisher's website.
Yeah.
But delivery for those is also not exactly as great as how Webtoon and other webcomics platforms deliver it.
Okay.
And we are actually going to talk about this though. It's like about how little the traditional publishers, both in the East and West, are only sort of recently catching up.
Yeah, I had a this is the one bit where I get to talk about DC and look cool because I spoke to people who worked at DC. Look at me, guys, I'm special. So I had a conversation with a really lovely guy called Kwanzaa Osayefo. He used to work with DC in DC's digital media section, which means he's been responsible for getting some comics with the Comixology. He used to make he used to work on DC's now defunct service called Zuda Comics, which is the reason why I even got to talking to him, because we're doing a video on Zuda Comics and the history and stuff. Nothing like mind breaking. It's just interesting for me as a history guy. So while talking to him, he talks about how like DC is a big company with lots of moving parts. And companies like that, like, like Dark Horse, DC, any very traditional comics company, they've got a lot of moving parts. And just because someone 100% believes in something and shows them stats doesn't mean they're going to change their mind on whether something is legit or not, And like, for example, when Zuda Comics was running under DC, they had no ads. Because when they were told to get ads, they went, no. Thinking that thinking that this would convert into sales for them, in some arbitrary way or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. Like, I have to go reread.
They think the free things is converting sales.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure though. I'm gonna have to reread the tweets I had, the message I had with Kwanzaa. But like generally, it's just DC didn't think of putting ads. And that's it. They just didn't think about it in essence. And he tells this big moving company, do this thing so that we can have a fulfilling future. Because if you saw Zuda Comics, it's a custom website made by IBM in 2007.
What?
And I have seen,
wow.
I know, and I have seen so many screenshots of the site. And like for 2007, it was insanely good. It had like, it was a
I'm trying to look for screenshots, yeah.
Yeah. We have a shit ton of like footage. I think I'll find it later if we have any. If not, I'm just gonna make some. But yeah, like, we've been doing research into this thing for a while, and it's quite interesting. But you realize that like for a lot of bigger comic companies, they can see millions of people making money, but they don't jump in until they're sure it's making cash. So DC took a while to even get into the digital comics market, like in terms of monetary value, because they were just waiting for everyone else to do it. Essentially, let's see if it goes through, and if it doesn't go through, fuck it. And if it does, maybe we get on that. And like, you start realizing that a lot of the legit companies and publishers are slow as shit because they don't want to take a risk, but they will take weird risks.
Bureaucracy is like that.
Yeah, I mean, bureaucracy is dumb. It's dumb. It's such
But at the same time, though, you also kind of need a bit of money to like plow into this sort of thing as well.
Yeah.
So if anyone should be like, is in a position to do it and like do it well, it's them.
Yeah, exactly. Like these guys, they spent $6 million, upwards of $6 million on that website alone, and it didn't make a cent back from it. I don't think, at all.
So why did they shut it down again? Because
Oh,
it was
just because it wasn't making money, essentially, which makes sense, of course. But they shut it out after like 4 years or something. There's a motorcycle like group outside my flat, and they're just driving up and down the street.
Oh gosh.
Whatever.
Yeah. Well. Meanwhile, though, like, I think especially in Japan, like, and they've sort of started warming up to, putting more of their stuff on the internet, and also allowing for subscription models or like freemium models.
Finally, I get to read Boruto on the internet in English.
Oh gosh, yeah.
What? I am reading Boruto.
Oh, you mean you're reading Naruto-san? Ah.
Yeah, Boruto, the greatest manga of all time. You know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can hear like the sincerity in my voice, like, yeah. DC's failures let Webtoon succeed. Yeah, but probably did. Yeah.
On some level, I think it's great that Webtoon, Tapas, and Graphite are doing good. Companies that are built by web.
You mean no Webtoon and Webtoon's doing good, Tapas is doing okay,
and Graphite exists. Yeah, but like it matters to me because it's like they are doing fine, and and they are people who understand the internet. They've been on it. They essentially are. A lot of people who work there grew up on it. They, despite the many mistakes that they make in marketing, all of them, they at least
fast.
Yeah. They at least understand the community they're working with. They understand who they're working for. There are some things that I don't like about the way people interact with them. I don't actually blame other companies. Like, I give companies a lot of shit, but quite honestly, a lot of the time it's someone else's fault.
The user base. It's the user base. Because if you make it open for everyone instead of being a little bit more gatekeeping, like how you have to submit to a publisher and get accepted, then of course you're going to get like some dogs in there. Oh no, please! I'm not insulting dogs.
Don't say dogs. Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, for me, it's been a lot of So like, I have a bit of a media background. I've worked in film a little bit. So for me, a lot of my experiences when it comes to people who make webcomics has always been very weird, because like in film, a lot of rights don't exist for people who make stuff. Like
a lot of what? Right?
A lot of rights. So like, for example, let's say I write a script, a screenplay, right? If I sell that screenplay, it's gone. They can take that. They've paid me for it. They'll pay me royalties when the movie comes out. But that screenplay could literally be turned into Transformers: Dark of the Moon.
Oh.
Like, it can go from there are so many stories of scripts going from like action to romance comedy, or from like pure romance, unbridled romance to psychedelic horror. Like, so for me, that interaction, that almost hands off the community, the companies are going to do what the company does, and I can always discuss with them kind of thing, is normal for me, right? But like, a lot of creators on the internet, a lot of people who interact with these companies don't know that, so there's always this weird disconnect I have, because I don't get it. Like, I remember talking to you when I first met you, and I said, I don't really understand why creators need all the rights to their comics. Like,
but now you kind of do, right?
I do now. I get it now. But I remember when I said it, and I said it because for me, it doesn't make sense. At the time, it didn't make sense. It's like, fuck it. The company's gonna make me money, so who cares how they make me money? Unless it's really bad, I have no reason to bother about it. This is my brain set. I get it now, though. Yeah. I get it, and I think again, I said it's good that the companies that are on the internet are doing what they do, because they understand that. A lot of the legit companies don't give a shit. Legit companies like DC can
they only give a crap when it hurts their bottom line.
Yeah, like DC can just take your rights straight up, which for me is fine, but for most of you is like no, which makes sense.
Oh, thank you for the follow.
Thanks, Gmo. Gmo. His name is Moo. It's a cow. He's a cow.
Yeah, well. Oh yeah, Nen has a thing. If you guys didn't know, for cows.
If you draw me a cow, I swear to God, I will swear my allegiance to you, and I will fight in your army.
like one of my other creators drew him a cow, like, and finally, and he was like, oh, the gods have descended.
Yeah, X gave me a cow. I've never been happier. It was the greatest Christmas present I ever got. Yes, a cow, a moo cow, not a sea cow.
Yeah, my
A moo cow. Every time somebody gives me a cow, I grow stronger.
I'll give you. So are you having a cow right now?
Leave me alone. Go away. Why do you make these jokes?
Okay, so because you love them sometimes. Okay, so Mayu, I really can't explain why. Besides the fact that he likes.
It's complicated. The story is very old. And I refuse to tell people. I'll tell people when it. Thanks for Dewa. Oh yeah, dude, you started this. Thanks, Jimo. Anyway,
but your cow like is a different story. But we kind of digress from the original topic of like digital and web delivery.
Yeah. Do you think? Okay, so part of the discussions I had with all the people I found on the internet, especially Kwanzaa, who's a big digital delivery boy, was that digital delivery.
Who's Kwanzaa?
His name is literally Kwanzaa, like the holiday.
Oh, happy Kwanzaa.
Yeah, like the holiday. So 1A less, I think, but like the holiday. he specifically said that he very much believes in the new blood, as I called it. Webtoon, Tapas, those people. Webtoon especially. He was very excited when I said the word Webtoon. And I'm seeing a lot of people pivoting and believing in that. Local comic distributors, local comic circles. Like I met one in my city, a bunch of local comic creators, and they know about Webtoon. My kids in my school know about Webtoon. They read.
Do they know that Mr. Nen is?
Yeah, they do. They read Aerosol.
Oh my
They
God.
read Aerosol, and every time a new chapter comes out, like last week, 2 new chapters came out, and I went into class to teach math, and the first thing that they said was, "Sir, you brought out 2 new chapters. I saw it this morning," and I'm like, please.
2 new chapters that still do not have good typesetting. Come on. Please do not stretch your abilities out.
Listen, we have to make sure Jay doesn't die. I need to get him a typesetter. But till that happens, he can't die.
You can't do it either?
I mean, listen, I could.
Who types Bros comic?
Oh, that was Jay.
Oh, that one was alright.
Yeah.
It wasn't perfect. It was.
Oh no, I've seen the issues, but it's just I don't have the time to typeset because I'm making lesson plans. So I'm usually doing storyboard restructuring, etc., etc., etc. I need to get him a typesetter.
Hi.
I'm probably gonna hire him a typesetter.
Yeah, but in the meantime, I do want to like a little break from typesetting because I've been doing quite a lot of it in
Japanese.
Japanese.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. It's fine. I was gonna ask you.
I've been doing it. It's at least 80 strips of 80 strips of at least 4 panels, and Japanese is harder because I have to figure out where to break the lines in a language that isn't my native.
Okay, we get it. Show off. You could speak multiple language. Go away.
So can you, dude.
And speak French. No one speaks French. No real people speak French.
What the hell is Olympics then? If you say no one speaks French.
Yeah. No way. Don't call me out like this. Jesus Christ. Anyway.
Also Tris went.
I can never justify saying je suis
omelette du fromage.
Omelette du fromage. That was my favorite episode of Dexter's Laboratory. Anyway, getting completely off track. That for me.
Yeah. So what were you going to say? Sorry.
No, I was going to say that for me. What do you call it? That for me makes a lot of webcomic stuff worth it. New blood, everyone's in it. The young people are reading it. You know what they say about the kids? When the kids get into something, it gets big. All right, it makes money. Money.
Yeah, won't somebody please think of the children when you're making money?
Just believe.
Well, then why do you think Pokemon gets big bucks?
Dude, don't talk to me about Pokemon today. I'm having a bad day. I haven't been able to catch the 2 Gigantamax Pokemon I was going for, so I'm pretty sad.
I only just started playing.
Oh God, don't remind me. Anyway, you were gonna say something before I got off track.
Yes, about the kids, and now we won't be talking about big kids and Jabel Pafonse, and no,
Yeah.
we've kind of. But all right, what I was thinking, what I was really considering, I was like, I don't know, like if the measures from these like traditional publishers into trying to catch up with um digital delivery are having much of an effect, but we can definitely look at where manga is concerned because I don't think it's as widespread for things like the big two and the other Western imprints, but
Yeah.
in terms of manga, it's been a huge boon, obviously because of the whole language barrier and availability thing.
Yeah, which is interesting. I know smaller comic companies are making a big jump. So Graphite seems to be a lot of smaller comic companies like into the digital space. Because whenever I go on Graphite, I can see Boombox, Legendary, Kaboom, and Boom Studios, Top Cow. Kaboom are the people who made Adventure Time, who published Adventure Time.
Top
Boom,
Cow, isn't that you?
Jesus, Boom is Kaboom's older brother. Literally, it's just Kaboom,
Uh,
but Kaboom is just the kid version of Boom Studios. I think, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong. There's Boombox and Arcadia. These are companies that I know from reading stuff. There's Valiant Entertainment. They're legit. They're legit studios and Dark Horse. Dark Horse is a big deal as well because Dark Horse is like they're a legit company that has put out some of the they put out the Legend of Korra and Avatar, an Avatar: The Last Airbender comics.
Dark Horse, yeah, I think Dark Horse also was the licensor for the Digimon comics, if I'm not
I
wrong,
think
like the
so.
publisher.
Yeah, I think you're right because they have worked with Yeah, they have. They did the Minecraft, Legend of Zelda, and Super Mario comics, and they did Dragon Age comics. So they're a legit company who have made legit good stuff, and they're going on to Graphite as their end goal, as one of their end goal online publishing platforms. So the big companies aren't going to be here for us. It's up to the little guys, the small boys.
It's probably better that they also latch onto an existing platform for these relative big companies that don't want to like spend that extra money on like
Yeah,
developing their own.
yeah. I think that's great. If they because making a website, a comic website is expensive. Like it may not cost the world, but it's more expensive than it needs to be. Like I want to read
Especially for the
Hellboy.
bandwidth.
Yeah, not just it's not even just the bandwidth. It's things like you need a community management system. So you need to make sure that your community has an interaction point because the problem with and I've said this before, the problem with web comics when it comes to being like making money is web comics aren't like a delayed engagement forum where you see the comic then you walk outside and you buy one maybe a few weeks later. It's an immediate engagement product where you must read, you must like, you must comment for your existence in like the as a reader to count to the person who's making money. You got to do all those things. Which, by the way, if you're listening, you should probably like, comment, and subscribe on our video when it goes as a VOD on YouTube. Anyway, but you must
Yeah, do that for the YouTube algorithm.
exactly. But you must like, comment, and subscribe if you want it to count in these platforms. If not, it doesn't exist. So you as like a web developer, you got to make a whole host of like interactive ways in. You got to make an account. Accounts make users more invested. You got to make a system for them to curate their crap. It's a lot of work down pat. And if you don't put it all at the beginning, especially since there are better services out there, people will just abandon you no matter what you've got. You know, Graphite had Hellboy. I love Hellboy. Okay, I
Still does
own
have Hellboy?
Graphite had Hellboy, like the Hellboy comics from Dark Horse.
Yeah, do they still have it?
Yeah, they still do. And I love
Okay.
Hellboy. I own several copies of Hellboy memorabilia in a box that I can't bring out because there's no space in my flat. And like,
Wow.
I didn't stay on Graphite. And I could have read Hellboy anywhere I wanted. That's a lot of that. That tells you a lot about like how much interaction matters for a reader, despite how nobody wants to admit it to themselves. I don't know. Meh.
And we both readers and the creators.
Yeah, because creators need a way to gauge how much money they're about to make. Get those fat stacks. My students ask me, "Do artists make a lot of
But
money?"
then, haven't you heard? According into comics is you shouldn't go into comics to make money.
What the
You do it for fun.
Who
Yeah,
said
but
that?
seriously,
Who fucking said
I've
that?
seen it. Well, apparently when you ask when you plug your Patreon and then you ask for money, people go like, what, you should just be doing it for free like everyone else out there.
If we lived in a wonderful, beautiful world where I could get paid a standard wage just for existing and I could just make my art, I would fully be all for you, dude. But that's not reality. There goes gravity. Like, you just don't. You
I mean,
don't.
the comic is still free for you to read. It's just that, it would be nice for you to support the development of it.
I don't get it. Like, this is just support you. Just support your creators. There's nothing they've done wrong to you. They're nice people. Give them a little bit of the fat stacks.
It's not like anyone's forcing you to pay up. Like, if you can't, like, there are other ways you can contribute.
Just give some stacks. All I'm saying is stacks is stacks. I need to stop saying stacks like that. I sound like Logan Paul.
So one thing I must point out is that, like, with time, the rate of, I think I remember like, but back when we were reading like comics on our cell phones, when the most of like whatever was available was scanned pages of manga.
Yeah.
Which obviously wasn't the like most practical way to read it, because like
Yeah.
cell phones weren't also exactly like
Great.
the behemoths that they are now. Remember when the 12 ones all started getting smaller and smaller, and then with smartphones they'll started getting bigger and bigger and bigger?
Dude, don't remind me.
God,
Okay,
fireworks.
I had a flip phone for like 4 years of my life.
I am so sorry about the fireworks outside. And my dog is going to go crazy because of this. I promise nothing is happening in terms of danger here.
They're shooting Kaz's house.
Hey, knock on wood. I know.
That is. How long is this going to go on for? Live streams.
Wait, I'm not sure what's happening now. Like, what is the occasion? Because it only just turned like 10 past midnight over here.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
It stopped. Yeah, we've talked about the acknowledgement. I think it's the acknowledgement of people to the web space, and I think it's all right. I think it's great.
Yeah. So I mean, with cell phones getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and also development scroll format, ironically at the same time, it's also okay now to like put like full page web comic scans and like swipe to either side.
Yeah.
But infinite scrolling still
I love infinite
easier
scrolling
though, to a certain extent. But
I love infinite scrolling. I'm gonna say that straight up. I really love infinite scrolling. It's my favorite thing to do.
It's very addictive.
Yeah.
That's how they keep you on the site for longer.
Oh, which reminds me, I wanted to talk about two things before we ended, because we're getting close to the end of all that stuff. The translated versions of the Webtoon page. Okay, so some of you have your comics translated on the Webtoon page. I know at least one of you does.
You mean in terms of the Webtoon's translation page?
Yeah. So like, not the translation page, like the French Webtoon page. I don't read Spanish, but the people I know who read Spanish have laughed at the translations of some of the names, which is funny. But I read French, and I've been reading. I've been reading Love Advice from the Great Duke of Hell in French, or Le Conseil d'amour du Grand Duc des Enfants. Yeah, what? Des Enfants? Yeah, I've been reading.
I'm going to need to look at that.
You need to. It's funny. One, they call him the Grand Duke, which I find amusing. But it's just because all the stuff is really absurd in English. In French, it sounds really absurd as well. Some of the translations aren't great. I understand what they're saying.
Or is it not great as in like the quality, or not great because it's it's just hilarious?
It's like it's good. It's just like, I guess maybe because the English parallel is so different. Because they're trying to parallel to be not only exact, but to make sense in French to French people. So some of the parallels don't work very well, at least to me as a person who read it in English. Like, my favorite scene is there's a scene in Great Duke of Hell when his sister is looking at her phone and she's seeing the black and blue dress, or the blue and white dress, or whatever it is. Remember what it was? The thing that broke Twitter for like 3 months. A few years ago.
Yeah, is it the gold and
white and gold, black and blue.
Yeah.
And like in the comic, she goes like, "What the fuck, black and blue? This dress is clearly white and gold." But like in French, it just sounded a bit lifeless. Like, I'm not gonna read French to any of you because none of you know what the fuck I'm saying. But it just sounded a little bit lifeless. It didn't impact me the same. It was funny because it looked weird, but like, that's like the dumbest reason to find something funny. The website doesn't have a lot of interaction, and it's like really small. Just read in French. It's like in the scene goes, "Mais quoi?" Let me. Where is it? Mais quoi? Bleu et noir.
Actually, can you put the French version of it up on the screen?
Let me see if I can like studio mode display.
And this is also where we could probably like talk about the like show some appreciation for how like localization and translation for comics is quite a difficult thing. There are some things that are not so easily translatable.
There's a lot of things that aren't just translatable. Let's be honest.
So like there's just no equivalent word for it, and you have to use a phrase for it, or just some cultural things that don't translate so well. But the sad thing is, I've heard that in the movie Parasite. Have you guys heard about it? That's the one
I know
where,
Parasite.
Like,
I think you made me watch it.
I did not make you.
No, I mean, like, you're the reason I've watched it because I think you made a tweet about it, and I've just gone on the internet and watched it.
Oh yeah, probably a retweet about the whole like subtitles thing. But so apparently there were some parts in Parasite where they changed things like Kakao Talk and Japagli to WhatsApp and Ramadan. And I'm like, no, please don't. Okay, let's.
I think this is the scene I was talking about. Let me scroll up. So this is the scene I was talking about.
Go back up to the dress part.
Like, it's funny in the way that like listening to somebody speak Chinese and you don't understand it is funny because it just sounds weird. But it's just like cette robe est clairement blanche et I forgot to say that word. So fume quoi. Yeah, no, the faces are hilarious. Still, but it's like you're reading that and you're like, why did you say it the way you did? Like it lacks a little bit of impact. There's no, because in French you can just say what the fuck. People know what the fuck is. You can say WTF.
Wait,
like
you actually say WTF instead of ma quoi?
You don't have to say me quoi. You can just say WTF, and people know what you're talking about because most people use the internet, so they know what WTF means. You know, most young people know WTF, what the fuck. They're not stupid. You don't need to translate.
Yeah, but would she have spoken that though?
Possibly, if she's young enough. Like his sister supposed to be like a few years older than him, so it's not weird. At least.
Wait. So young? Are you saying the young French speakers will actually out loud say WTF instead of?
Well, they wouldn't say not out loud, but like it's easily translatable in a readable format. You don't always have to say like the word, because you can say write WTF and then the readers will go, oh, they mean what the fuck, but like they'll think about it in French. Like it's like when I realized that a lot of people say lol in countries where lol doesn't have an actual meaning, because they know that on the internet lol means laugh out loud, and a lot of them will understand, well, he says LOL, okay, that means funny, great, that's it, that's all you need. And when you're reading something, that communication is key. And I don't know, that didn't connect with me. That didn't connect with me specifically.
Yeah, so there is no equivalent like to WTF in French.
So they know, not that I've heard anyone say. It depends where you go. If I lived in Alsace or something where they speak weird French, I might have something to say about it. But like if I'm using Paris French,
how about asking the Canadians?
No, the Canadians aren't real people. Get rid of them. None of those snow Mexicans in my city. I just called them snow Mexicans. That's very. It's, I guess maybe because of the way it was worded in English. There's a lot more impact. There's a lot more movement because it's faster. English has a lot of like. This thing. The English has a lot of like subtle nuances because it's a really well used language, so it's huge.
So are you saying that in French does not have the same impact, or is it just
not for me?
You don't really understand. I mean, or is it maybe because of you being exposed to like the?
I think there's the added point of that. Like maybe because I don't have French people who live around me anymore. So I live with a bunch of people who speak English now. I live in an English speaking country, and the closest French person to me is Canadian.
and their French is different.
Yeah, their French is different.
Like I mean, this is probably translated by someone who doesn't really speak more like colloquial kind of French.
Yeah, I mean it's still relatively is good.
Language.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, for a translation to get someone to read it, good. For the impact that I expected to have, like, when you read scanlated manga and it has like this weird, it's scanlated so perfectly that like the impact it has in English should be about as much as the person when they read it in Japanese.
Oh yeah.
They change phrases, they change the way things are said just to fit with the way you would say in English. Like in Japanese, they might say, screw this or whatever. But if you watch like old informal dubs of Naruto, a lot of the time when he just says like whatever, they translate as fuck because it's a more impactful phrase for a 12-year-old kid.
Oh yeah.
That kind of thing.
Start them young.
Oh jeez, start them young. Yeah. But I don't know. This just didn't hit me the same way. I feel like maybe it's exposure, but it didn't hit me the same way. I mean, I'm sure that somebody is going to be like Lana is already threatening to fight me, which if she does, I need you to know something, Lana. I'm very soft and weak.
I think I've had like but maybe many moons ago, I've had the experience of reading the same comic in Japanese, Chinese, and English. And yeah, I mean, after a while, like you do realize that I mean, if you don't notice a huge difference, then for barring some of the more culturally like nuanced things, then I mean, them localizers did a good job.
Yeah, they did. Like again, this for me is great for someone who wants to read it. If you want to read oh crap, I just hit the microphone. If you want to read True Beauty but in French, go for it. Like it's right there. Have fun with it. It's gonna be good for you.
Voulez-vous pedir votre
Yeah. I love how the Adventures of God got translated, which for me is still.
How does it look? Oh, bâtard.
Yeah. Oh, bastard.
So okay, this really amuses me because when you make sourdough bread, you have a few different types of like proofing baskets. The baskets you put bread, and a certain shape is called a bâtard, and a lot of bakers when they're trying to type it in English, autocorrect does its thing.
Oh, Lana's fighting me because she's Canadian. Oh, I'm sorry. Poutine is crap. Anyway, now that I've infuriated the entirety of Canada. You do? Should I feel bad
fancy, now? Like it's fancy like fries and cheese and gravy.
Okay, I need you to understand this. All right, I also like cheese, fries, and gravy, and along with bacon. But I can't let the Snow Mexicans know. They can't know. If they know my weaknesses, they'll take advantage of them. So I just gotta pretend like it's crap.
Yeah. I kind of wanna know. Like, I mean, very sort of way back to the topic of like see, okay, now I've kind of lost it because
it's okay
because my mind's fixated on the Snow Mexicans. I am so sorry. I am so sorry.
That's a very racist thing to say. I probably shouldn't say it that much, but
yeah. We are jumping around quite a bit, like
because we're at the end. We're just covering up random stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't. I wonder how everyone's doing. Like, what everyone's got like lined up for like the rest of the year or two.
We've got. What has everyone got lined up for the rest of the year? Tell me in the doobly doo in the typey bit. I want to know what you're gonna do this year. What's your New Year's resolution? What's your plan?
I'll tell you what Kari's New Year resolution. I mean, 2020 resolution for comics is to update Xco.
Oh my god, one update.
Did you not see his? Like,
yeah, I saw it, but it's still funny when someone says it. Mayu, what the fuck? Another comment.
Mayubi, please don't spread yourself too thin.
Do you know what my New Year's resolution is?
What?
To make and this is a genuine unironic sentence, and I'm not saying it to be funny, to make a what do you call it? Not my giant nerd boyfriend. Actually, it is my giant. Make a my giant nerd boyfriend. What do you call it? Webcomic tabletop game. for the one day that we're gonna, because I'm gonna try and get it to do it like intermittently with this. So this week this, and the next week that, next 2 weeks that, so we can get a couple out of the year. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we have not had a guest on in a while. So
I want a guest. That's one of the reasons why I want to do this, because Sophism was like, take my characters, kill them in your tabletop game. So I'm thinking of doing Purple Hyacinth too.
Oh no, you hit Kari's visit button, the isekai button.
Oh my god, Deneki, isekai. I'm making a short film called Sharkdemic. It's about sharks with legs.
My Kari's doing an isekai one shot. Like, okay, but it's not true, strictly speaking, isekai, because you don't see the parallel world, but it's an isekai parody one shot.
Okay.
Breathing.
I will be your guest.
We get it. Like, that's Kari's turn on.
I need to have Carry on for an Exco table. I just want to play tabletop games with my friends, but on live stream in a stupid way.
Can we get Kari on to talk about the isekai genre?
I want him to talk about isekai and how deep this rabbit hole goes.
Yeah. One thing I do have to mention. One thing I have to mention though, like, have you heard of Free Guy, the Ryan Reynolds isekai?
Wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, so Free Guy is a new movie that's coming out and stars Ryan Reynolds in it, and he's apparently an NPC and in a game.
A bank teller realizes that he is a background character in an open world video game called Free City that will soon go offline. Wait,
so I said Ryan Reynolds isekai.
That sounds amazing. That sounds
yeah. Actually... isn't isekai. No wonder. No. Carry your biases are showing.
Fancies Are Realities tier is literally an isekai. Wait, hold on.
Yeah, it is. Just need longer titles. Oh no.
Oh wait, 1 second. I need to change.
Isekai. Yes.
I need to change the output. Isekai. Fucking bullshit.
Are we actually making them watch Free Guy's trailer?
I mean, they can't stop me.
Well,
I'm just saying, they can't stop me.
I mean, we'll give it a few minutes because I will just head up to half.
Yeah, I just want to see what the beginning looks like. That's all.
Did you not realize that farts was the initial? That's the thing though. Like, when I saw Fantasy Star Realities TS, I was like, why is this such a complicated title? I was like, oh, it's fart. Going Mayu.
I just love Ryan Reynolds' face.
It's not like anyone else can hear it, right? Can you guys hear it? Make sure you can hear it.
Yeah, they can hear it.
Mondays, am I right, Joe? You said it, guy. Yeah.
Wait, his name's Guy. The character's name is Guy. How much more generic do you get than just naming your character Guy? Okay, we can't watch the whole thing because I think that'd actually be illegal. But yeah, everyone should watch.
Yes, it's Pikachu.
Fucking Jesus. Is that what you were spending your whole time in their background doing? Coming up with that fucking accent?
Pika.
Okay, we're at the end of this. Fortnite the movie. Okay, no, we're not doing this today.
Fortnite the movie. Oh god.
I'm out. This is getting tired. This is the end. We spent the last 30 minutes just covering whatever we just had on mind to talk about. Making isekai with a femme character named Gal. Oh god, please.
So 2 weeks from now, hopefully we'll have hopefully we should have a show for what is it? Hang on a minute. Let me check my calendar. Okay. Am I around in 2 weeks? I am actually not around in 2 weeks. Oh boo.
Oh boo. What am I gonna do? I actually am not.
You can entertain the audience with a tabletop.
I mean, I could, but then I need to. Well, we'll talk about that later. I should actually. That would be a good time to test the tabletop idea when you're not here. That way, if it goes to shit,
that's it, guys. Although that's it, guys. So feel free to suggest potential topics. If you want to come on as a guest, and contribute to, you are more than welcome.
Why, Carrie? Why are you talking about me? Okay, not talking about Carrie.
Oh
no! We hit dangerous kawaii levels. Anyway, thanks so much for showing up today, guys. If you were on the Twitch stream, make sure you go to YouTube and you give us the like, the subscribe, the whatever, so you can watch our stuff. Because we put more stuff there. There are actually some Hubcast highlights coming out as soon as I stop sitting on my ass. No one can control the pure masculine energy that is Carolus.
No,
No.
This is actually a first. Like, this is actually a first. Usually it's me who makes those kinds of jokes.
It is. She makes a lot of them.
Yeah, but I do make them wink, wink, nudge, nudge kind. But this is actually more like explicit.
Explicit.
Good job, Carrie.
Thanks,
Good
Carrie.
job, Carrie.
Anyway, okay, time for the outro. Thank you so much for watching tonight, guys. If you liked it, you make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Patreon. I mean, give us money on Patreon. I know you're earning some cash. Give me them stacks. Follow.
Think our Patreons.
Yeah, join our Discord. Join. I don't know. Follow us on Instagram. We actually have an Instagram. It's Webcomics Hub, all one word. Follow it.
Well, tweet at us. I'm quite lively on Twitter.
Tweet stuff at me, at Kaz, at the account.
Mm-hmm.
What else, Kaz? What am I missing?
Well, yeah, just have a happy weekend too, and may the odds be ever in your favor for your resolutions.
Oh my god. we should collab all the isekai. Okay, no, we should not. Okay, nope. There's too much alcohol, too much internet for me. Okay. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks, hopefully with something a lot more interesting to fill an hour. Yeah.
That sounds really interesting. Like whatever project they're talking about, someone needs to coordinate the hell out of it.
Set into the same isekai world. Thanks for showing up, guys. We appreciate you being here. You're awesome, beautiful, blah, 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 blah. Lana, you can't fight me. You're Canadian. You're not real. Bye. Gotta shoot people when they're down. That's my whole.
Please.
Okay. Let me just wait 1 second.